Hey guys, it's Dave0624 here. Getting ready to give you a new video for the week, or the month, or whatever, how long it's been. I appreciate all the comments on the last video. I appreciate Real Proof and his video response. I know that it's funny how when you talk to somebody and you comment on something and then it goes in a completely different direction, and it's a positive direction. Don't get me wrong. It's funny how human communication can vary depending on what happens and what's said. An update. I have gotten boot camp for my MacBook over here, and I've been playing Kotor 1 and Kotor 2 mods. Brotherhood of Shadow, the whole storyline mod, fantastic. Who's written for that storyline, unbelievable, has taken a game and completely made it his own with the game engine, unbelievable. Thumbs up to you. Played the early beta for the Sith Lord's Restoration Project mod. It's good. It really could have been improved on, though. I feel as if they would have improved on it, great things could have happened. But it's sad with Team Gazika. I'm never gonna get that right, no matter how hard I try. I'm gonna call him Gazika. Whatever. Sue me. Gazika, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm gonna be talking today about the ailments and some of the complaints that I found in Kotor 1. They're not necessarily negatives because negatives are in the game itself. It's just the little things that I think people are bothered by Kotor 1. Well, we're gonna start out with basically one of the characters that is in the game. Her name is Jahani, and I have a feeling this is not a complaint, but it's a confusion because unfortunately, with a game like KOTOR, there's been a lot of cut content, and I feel as if this is kind of more or less of an ailment in terms of how this could have been completed and could have been revolutionary. And Jahani is rumored and considered the first lesbian character in Star Wars. Um, and it could have been with the cut content and the romance story arc. It wasn't completed. I felt like if it was put in, it would have been. See, that's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that they consider that. Oh, that definitely has to be cut content. No, that could have been very interesting, um, because I personally I consider female Revan canonical. So I play mostly with the female Revan because if Obsidian and LucasArts for KOTOR 2 is saying Revan is a female and canonical, I play with a female because I like to keep it as close to the chest as possible and just kind of branch out and create my own storylines from there. Basically, yeah, I didn't appreciate that. The arc would have been interesting. It would have been depending on how you felt that playthrough. You could have made it a possibility. Yeah, so the Jahani cut content, I didn't appreciate that. I happen to like Jahani. She's complex. She's a bit preachy. Sometimes not very interesting, but I appreciated that or the attempt. Next, I'd have to say one of the things I found playing the PC version and playing the Xbox version is the smoothness. The PC, it's this quality how it runs very very smooth on runs very very smooth on the Xbox in certain places, but then in combat sometimes it doesn't, and on PC in close spaces it doesn't run so well, and in combat it runs a little bit better. It's just the smoothness because in demos I saw this smoothness that was played out perfectly. Like this, just smoothness was just absolutely perfect, and just it varies on different places. I guess frame rate and such. It's not a particular ailment. The game is playable. The game has always been playable for me, no matter what. I just have found that very very odd. I guess that's the game engine. It was definitely absolutely improved in Mass Effect. Absolutely. No, I cannot disagree with that at all. It's just that's the very early stages of the game engine, that particular game engine for the Xbox console. Because you got to remember, the Xbox is basically just a bunch of PC excuse me, hardware just put into a video game console. That's really what it is. I mean, you could argue with me to the death, and I will argue that point. That's really, really what it is. Um, all right. So next, Mission Vaya. annoyance or useful. I find her the midway point. She's very annoying. I will absolutely positively say that one of the most just Kat Taber did an excellent job if her goal was to make the character annoying because if that was her goal, then absolutely perfect. But there are times where Mission's dialogue is just terrible. I hated speaking to Mission to get the story arc across. But there were other times where she was useful as a scoundrel because if you didn't play as a scoundrel, that's your only scoundrel character. So she is useful. But the dialogue itself is rather annoying at times because I just don't find the character compelling. Um, Really, honestly, the Griff storyline, who's her brother, by the way, spoiler alert, and you find him on Tatooine. I mean, honestly, you find him and then what? You don't really do anything. You just have to get into the Sand People Enclave and that's it. So, really, she like Jolie Bindo, serves no purpose, but I find Jolie Bindo to serve a very good purpose. He's a good mentor, and I happen to enjoy his skills because he's the only consular in the game, where in the next game, Kotor 2, you would have several consulars. But, yeah, no, Mission really is kind of a very useless character. But she's the midway point in terms of her dialogue is useless, her skills more or less aren't. So she is the midway point. Next, the Darth Malik battle. Okay, now I'm gonna go on a limb here, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for this and say that this had no ailment towards the game. This is my personal ailment. I felt like the Darth Malik battle is very, 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 very hard. And as you play up to it, I think the only point where you're honestly really, really challenged is Darth Bandon, where you just there's no possible way that you can win. And that's the point where the game's difficulty increases. But throughout the game itself really isn't that hard. And then I feel like once you get to Malik, I mean, it's just like, and the last Malik, not the Leviathan Malik. I'm talking about the last Malik on Starforge. I feel like if you're not well equipped, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. And I know a lot of people are gonna argue me to the death to this one on the comments. I just didn't. I found Malik too challenging. Meaning his saving throws were you couldn't get a force power on him. Nothing if you played as a consular. You honestly had to pray that your dexterity was high enough for you could dodge every one of his attacks. His saving throws. See, there's a line that you cross between saying, "Okay, we're gonna make this really hard," and then we're gonna make it absolutely impossible. And the fact that you honestly could not do anything in force powers. Nothing. You had to set up mines, and it's cheap. I don't like playing cheap. I like playing a boss that I know I can have a chance to at least get something as if that's my class. Kreia, more or less in the next game is the same way, but you could get a few force powers on her. You could do Force Crush, which is kind of makes it the ultimate too easy. But Malik, I felt like was way, way too hard in the game, and I didn't enjoy that. It was very frustrating my first playthrough. And I just feel like that hurt the game at the end because the jump to difficulty was unbelievable. This whole Starforge was just absolutely one of the hardest things. Like it was hell. It was absolutely hell. But it has to be. But I just felt like Darth Malik, the fact that his saving throws were that's not fair. Yes, the force immunity, he obviously has to use force immunity. But when it wears off, his saving throws will save him. He doesn't even need force immunity. You can't get a force power on him. You would literally need a wisdom of about +5 with modifiers, with item modifiers, to even get the maximum damage on a saving throw for him. So I didn't appreciate that. That was the jump to difficulty was ridiculous. All right, the next one. Probably the last I'd have to say is probably I'd have to say the ending was a big ailment, and this will be my last thoughts on this. The endings, or more or less just the light side ending. The dark side ending, okay, I'll give it credit. It did what it had to do. It showed it showed that whole how Revan took control of the Star Forge. Spoiler alert: Revan took control of the Star Forge, and used his resources. But the light side ending was so stupid. Yeah, they get to cross the glory. Like even the endings in Star Wars, as corny and overdramatic as they were, I felt like they could have did something much better. I don't have any ideas, but just something, anything. I enjoyed my favorite ending in Star Wars history. Period. It's probably Empire Strikes Back. That is probably my favorite ending. Uh, so I just and the fact that nothing could it's just that it wasn't a good ending. I didn't enjoy it. Everybody gets to cross the glory and Revan's the Project Knight, whatever. Stupid. I didn't enjoy it. Anywho, all right. Well, that's it for me. There's a video for you. Hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I'll be back soon with Kotor 2, Ailments and Hurts for the game. Angel signing out. Peace.